Alright, so we're gonna cross the street here. Where are we exactly? City of Seoul. Look at that view. Feels surreal. Looks surreal. Fountain. I see some foreigners and tourists. Plaza Hotel. Hotel Plaza. Look at this. Weather is so nice. Feels good. You got a nice breeze going. And throughout the city, they have these little umbrellas to protect you from the sun. So when it's hot during the day, you can always sit underneath this, hang out. There's Namsan Tower right there. Oops, wrong zoom. There it is. Right there. You know, the Chinese tour guide that was helping us through the DMZ zone, who was helping out her Chinese tour guests. I noticed that she spoke with well, she's obviously Korean and she was speaking Chinese, but her accent was very strongly Korean, or a Korean Chinese accent. And I noticed that her Chinese sounded French. Like when I first heard her talk, I literally thought she was speaking French. So that's kind of interesting. I've never heard Chinese sound French, but as a Korean woman speaking Chinese with her Korean accent, she sounded French, which was weird, and it had a very pleasant sound, very nice sound, like a nice, pleasant sounding Chinese version. And she said she went to school in some city in China because she got interested in Chinese because she loved Chinese martial arts movies, which is kind of strange, right, for a woman who I think she's like in her 40s. So she grew up enjoying watching Chinese martial arts films, and then, or Chinese films, I guess, and that's why she started to learn Chinese. You know, Korea's got a lot of hills. You gotta walk up and down a lot. I noticed more people are vaping here too. Smoking and vaping. Vaping has become unpopular, even with slightly older men and women in their 30s, 40s. More vaping. All these hills you gotta walk up. Look at this. It's like it's gonna give you some good exercise here. You're constantly going up and down. That's good for your body. Good exercise. Korea does have some of the lowest rates of heart disease and strokes, I think, although not the lowest, I think. They still need to work on that. This is a famous church, Catholic church, I think. It's a cathedral. You can get married here. Huh. I'm not sure if these were built by Koreans or built by foreigners or a foreign church group. This is an actual Catholic church. Let's see if we can go inside. Oh, look at this door. Oh, look at this door. Nice. Huh. So it's got a picture, an engraving of some Korean yangban's. Maybe here. Is that the door? Okay, here's another door we can enter. Oh, here's the church. Okay, here's the church. Okay, exiting the church now. This view, it's beautiful. So this is the tourist area of Myeongdong, one of the pricier tourist areas you can come to. Definitely a tourist trap, which means that everything's more expensive only because the rent is more expensive. which then raises the price of your products and services. Everything is more expensive here because the rent is high. Because why? Because all the tourists come here and people are willing to spend money. So then everything gets more expensive. And that's how the cycle works. So the locals don't like to come here necessarily because things are more expensive than on average. Look at this nice looking Hyundai called the Grand Door. Only available, I believe, in Korea. Look how nice that the rear is. Not available in the US for sure. Here's the car again right here, the Grand Door. That's how the front looks. Alright, we're in some part of Seoul, which is a few miles east of the Plaza Hotel. And we're going to try to have some Korean beef. And it's raining a bit. This area is not as clean as the area that we came from, but it's an older part of town, but it's supposed to have really good food. The cab driver was quite friendly, very talkative, telling us where all the nice places are, where all the best places are. I think here's some Korean beef here. Picture of a Korean cow. Yeah. The people here are quite assertive in terms of you wanting to eat at the restaurant. Got all this Korean beef here. Oh, it's actually not real beef. Maybe some people speaking Chinese, I think. Or it's either a very strong accent to Korean. One of the two. Huh. Yeah, you can really smell. Here, you can really smell the meat, the beef, and it's not a good smell actually.
여기도 있고 여기.
아, 이쪽으로 가는 거예요?
여기 사갖고 가야지 3층. 사갖고 가야지. 이런거 사갖고 가면 3분이에요? 3분이면 제가 사돈 그 서비스 챙겨드리고 촛불 라인이라고 진짜 오로지 라인이에요. 그러면 제가 부탁까지 서비스 챙기고
Korean beef. I think you have to buy it here and you cook it somewhere else or something like that. I'm not sure.
양쪽이가 식당이
Can't really understand what she's saying.
얼마나 좋겠어요. 완전히 하시게 생각해 주실 줄 알아요? 요거 차도를 서비스로 더 챙겨드릴게요. 그 라인이야. 네. 만약에 모자르시면
이거
다시
어디에
들어와서
뭐예요? 여기?
하셔도 돼요. 할로?
네.
요거 등심.
한국말 안 하죠?
그래요? 요거 챙겨 드리세요.
아,
살치 갈비살. 툭불 라인이라는.
I guess you like buy the meat here. You buy the meat here and then you cook it somewhere else. I guess you go upstairs. There's a place where you make it, but you buy it in the front. You buy the beef up front. Huh. So this is like an old-fashioned, old way, like the old traditional way where you buy the meat up front and then you take the meat and you cook it somewhere else. That's like a older-fashioned way of selling beef or eating beef. And it's all Korean beef.